Have you ever wanted to use precuts in a 3-yard quilt pattern?
Well, now you can with our new book, Stash Busting with 3-Yard Quilts. Keep watching.
Hi, it's Donna Robertson.
And Fran Morgan with Fabric Cafe.
You asked for it and we did it.
We wrote a 3-yard quilt book that lets you use precuts, stash busting with 3-yard quilts. You can also use 3 yards of fabric.
There are so many creative ideas that you can use when you're making these patterns. So let's look at the first one. Now this one is called Bitty Bungalow. I've been wanting to make a cottage quilt for a long time, and so I did this one and had so much fun. And I did a little bit of a stagger here, so we've got different size houses so that the neighborhood didn't just look like copycat. It actually has a little style to it. So let's put it on the table and talk about it. Fran, I had so much fun making this quilt, and I have to tell you that I was trying to decide whether I was making little bungalows or if I was going to make like the beach
cottage, the little beach houses that are on the
cabanas. I was thinking about doing cabanas, and if I actually used a little bit of that kind of sea creature looking fabric, but it didn't quite work the same way that these awesome fun flowers did.
They're so fun.
If I'm going to live in a neighborhood, I want it to be a happy neighborhood.
Yes, and this fabric is fun.
And you know, we wanted to get the movement in it because there are just the little cottages like a neighborhood might look like, but I decided to stagger the way these were made so that some of them were a little bit taller than others. So we've got a little bit of movement going on there.
It's darling.
I love it. And so I also did a double focus fabric, which you can do very easily to change the look up just slightly. So in the number 1 spot, I used this wonderful kind of a light background here. And it also was the roof and the door over here. So I kind of like, you know, kind of mixed it up so that you have, because with 3 yards, you want to mix it up so you have a lot of movement going on and a lot of interest. So this was our number 1, and as you see, it's a lighter fabric. So remember, the rule of thumb is you pick out your focus, and then you forget about the focus when you look at these two. You compare them, you put your light and your dark. So number 2 is the blue, and number 3 is flower.
And it's perfect because the blue's like the sky. It's like your background.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And it's really, really cute. Now, this model is made with 3 yards of fabric, which is perfect. All of the patterns in the book are made with 3 yards of fabric. But now on Thursday, we're going to be doing a video showing you how to use precuts to make these quilts. And we'll step through and show you exactly where we've done that. So it's very, very cool.
It is. I was so excited when Fran said, let's do a book where we can swap them out. So it gave us some different parameters so that we had to stay with all the different precuts that you have in your stash. So let's get the name of this kit. It is Home Sweet Bungalow, and the kit number is 8023335. Bitty Bungalow is the pattern, and it's the brand new book, Stash Busting with 3-Yard Quilts. Now, an alternative pattern would be Topsy Turvy.
Now, this pattern is called Parade, and I think this is really cool. It turned out great. So, being our 3-yard version that we have here, I actually used like an ombre fabric as one of the fabrics, which is very cool, and it gives all of this variation of color in the pattern. Now, what's also really cool about this is it's actually 2 blocks that are alternated and put together. It's a little tricky, but it gives this great movement either up and down or on the diagonal. So let's put it on the table and check it out. So Mom, this was a lot of fun to design because what I wanted was that great movement that gave that vertical line, but I wanted to be able to keep it simple and manageable. So one of the things that I did, and you know, maybe we should grab the cropping tool just so that I can show the 2 different blocks, because I think it's, whenever you see the blocks, you realize how easy it actually is. So here is one of the blocks. And basically what this is strips of fabric sewn together. And we have our focus fabric and our number 2 just sewn together.
That is so amazing. I would never have thought that you had such a simple block in that.
It's very, very easy. So that's one of the blocks. The second block is also fairly simple. So what we've done here is we have a half square triangle in this corner and a half square triangle in this corner. Then on this corner, we just have another strip piece that's 2 fabrics put together, and that makes these other 2 corners. And when you put this together, what this does is it kind of creates this continuous line, which makes it really cool and fun.
I love it.
Yeah, and I have to say, what really makes this amazing is our beautiful focus fabric here is an ombre. Now we're going to pop up an image on the screen so that you can see how that changes color from one selvage to the opposite selvage. And when you put it in something like this, it really gives you just lots of variation and lots of fun color and pop. So it's really cool.
It makes me think of a scrappy quilt.
It
like
does.
maybe you used just piles of scraps from your stash.
It's so very cool. It's so very cool. So this is our beautiful fabric as our #1 position, and as you can see, it's in all of our strips in our blocks here. It's in our half square triangles, as well as our little strip blocks here. So very fun. We've put it just all over, and it really creates that great color pop that we love. Now our #2, and this is kind of a beigey, it has a little green, has a little beige, has a little white in it. We've used this as our #2 to just kind of pick up the greens in the #1, really give it some interest too.
And you know, this particular one it almost makes you think, I've got to pet that. It looks like it has texture to it.
It does. It really does.
Tactile. I mean,
It's very cool. It's very neat.
But
It almost
it's
looks
great.
like someone took a paintbrush too and went and painted little hearts on it.
I love that. That's a great backdrop fabric.
So then our #3 is this great blue that almost also looks like someone has dropped water on it or something.
Oh,
And of course we've got that in our half square triangles on our border. So it really gives us the pop on our half square triangles so that we can see them across the front of the quilt, which is just great. Now this is fabulous. I love this. I love this fabric. All right, let's get the kit info on this. This is called Watercolor Splash. The number is 8023338. The name of the pattern is Parade, and it's from our new book, Stash Busting with 3-Yard Quilts, and the alternative pattern that we are recommending is Trellis.
Now, I love this quilt, and the name of this pattern is called Elation. And the reason I named it that was because I was so excited. I mean, I was truly elated whenever I finished designing this particular pattern. It came together so nicely. It is such a gorgeous quilt. I can see it in a king-size version. And remember, we always give you the lap quilt, which is this size, twin size that takes 2 kits, and a king queen that takes 4. Let's put it on the table and talk about it. I love the pattern. I love the fabric. I mean, I don't even know what else to say.
It's
except
beautiful.
That.
It's
It is
breathtaking.
gorgeous.
It's great job.
And you know, really, a really cool thing is you can use layer cakes in this particular quilt. Now this fabric is our #1 fabric, and you can see how beautiful it is. This is a nice big block that will really show off your focus fabric.
Yes.
And then we wanted to have a high contrast between that number and 2 and 3 because you want to be able to see this incredible design. Isn't that cool?
It is so fun.
It makes you think you've kind of like stacked up squares.
And it's really nice and warm, and I love all the little bit of gray that's speckled in here, kind of picks up some of the colors in here. Perfect.
I do really, did I say I like this quilt? Now this is your #3, and that is the perfect coordinating fabric to give you a little bit of interest,
Yes.
but it still goes to the background so that it really looks like that accent color. It is a beautiful quilt, a beautiful fabric. I really love it.
Absolutely gorgeous.
And the information on this one is Peaceful Blooms. It is 8023336, and it is the Elation pattern from our brand new book, Stash Busting with 3-Yard Quilts. An alternative pattern would be Sweet Times.
Now this quilt is called Reflections, and this is such a great, rich, and moody one. We've got a great fabric here with the moons that are just decked out in all of these florals, just so beautiful. Then we have a #2 that is a nice kind of a dark pumpkin color that's got a lot of texture. And then we have our background here, our #3. Now this is a very cool fabric. It has dragonflies on it with just a little touch of gold. So let's put this on the table and check out this pattern a little more and look at this beautiful fabric. So this was a really, really fun quilt to put together, and it kind of uses a snowball block in a little bit different way, because as you can see, our great focus fabric here, we've got our corners cut off so that it creates this little kind of path right here between the blocks, which I think is really cool. It really helps it pop.
I remember as a child just inspecting the quilt on my bed and outlining the pieces. I guess I was practicing. But look at this. It's like this big butterfly moth or something, and it makes a bow on the moon. And I thought that was so cute. So I'm into the details of the fabric, too.
And, well, it's beautiful, beautiful fabric. There's so much beauty going on here. We have our very peaceful, restful moon here with that little bow butterfly and the fern, the stars. We've got some dragonflies, some darling mushrooms, some fern. So many things going on. A great position in our number one because we have this nice big snowball block that really shows it off well. Now, we've done something a little different because, as you know, our formula for 3-yard quilts is you take the focus fabric out of the equation and you compare the next two. The lightest is your number 2 and the darkest is your number 3. Well, in this case, our number 2 actually is not as light as we normally go, but it coordinates so well with our focus, and it gives such a nice pop in the number 2 position here in our alternate block and on the border. It just keeps it so rich. And
and it still contrasts really nicely with the number 3. So
very, very
it works.
nicely. So it's really pretty. I love the movement in this fabric, and it has just all the waves and the swirls. It's just great.
And then our quilter did the same thing with the waves and the swirls and everything, the stars.
It is so fun. So then we have our number 3. And remember at the quilt, whenever I said we have just a little pop of metallic? Well, this is a galaxy of stars done with a little bit of gold and some dragonflies in there. So do you remember being a little girl and looking up at the stars and you try to, make a match? You're looking for the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, Well, this time they found a dragonfly.
I wonder which constellation that is.
The dragonfly constellation, I don't know. So just beautiful. Love the little touch of metallic in this fabric, because to me it really helps brighten it up, and it really creates a great background as our number 3 here.
Well, it makes it look like these are positioned on the sky at night.
It's just beautiful. Just love it. So let's get you the kit information on this one, because this fabric is gorgeous. It is called Moon Dreamer. The number is 8023339. The pattern is called Reflections, and it's from our new book, Stash Busting with 3-Yard Quilts, and the alternate pattern that we're recommending is Snowball.
Now, you always have to have that quilt that you need in a hurry, and this one will do it for you. This one is called Shadow Play, and I did that because of the way this one seemed like it was shadowing itself with that little triangular piece down here. But I love this one. It goes together really fast, and let's put it on the table and talk about it. You know, Fran, I think every quilter on the face of the earth, it just sometimes needs a quilt that'll go together in a hurry.
Oh, yes.
So that's what we've done with this particular one. And you can see there's a square here, and then it's bordered on 2 sides.
Oh, yes.
And then I made a half square triangle, and I bordered it on 2 sides.
Wonderful.
So it makes it such a simple, fast, quick quilt.
Absolutely. And this is a nice big half square triangle too. And if you're just learning how to do half square triangles, this would be a great one because you've got a bigger piece to work with so you can learn. So I love that too. And this would be so fast.
It would be. It's not the least bit intimidating to make this quilt. It is fast, and you can make it, it's like,
Okay. And you chose some gorgeous fabric.
I love this fabric. It is so pretty. So we've got this one. We've got a lot of these watercolory kind of a prints because they're really popular right now.
We love them.
Oh, I do. And so this is our number 1 fabric, and I like to put the number 1 out in the borders sometimes. It just kind of gives you a much larger run of that focus fabric. So this is our number 1 fabric, and then you have your number 2 and 3, which are going to be compared, and then you'll put this light number 2 in the background. So it just kind of falls to the background.
But it's so pretty in and of itself with the way the leaves are and the little kind of a lacy effect on the surface. It's really pretty.
It has that watercolor feel to it too.
Yes.
Okay, so that's our number 2, and then our number 3, gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
I mean, it's like the faded back flowers, you know. It's
Yeah.
just, oh, it's so gorgeous.
It's so gorgeous.
I love it. And so that's going to be our number 3, which we usually call the accent color. It does kind of play with the number 1 nicely and really causes it to kind of come forward whenever you're looking at the quilt. So you've got that movement going on.
It is so, so pretty. And you know, all of the fabrics that you're seeing here today are available on our website, fabriccafe.com. On the fabric tab, they're available by the yard. So if, for instance, you want to do a little extra border or some companion pieces to go with it, you could get that extra fabric and it's perfect.
Yes, that's a great idea. Throw pillows and... Okay, so this one is called Floral Art 8023340. It's Shadow Play is the name of the pattern from the Stash Busting with 3-Yard Quilts book, and the alternative pattern would be Easy Street.
So the next quilt in our new book is called Veranda, and oh my goodness, is this not fun? I love the pops of pink in this, and then this gorgeous floral right here that contrasts so beautifully with our nice kind of a textured off-white here. Now this is a fun one to put together as well, and we've got lots of little special details I want to share with you, so let's get it on the table so I can talk about this. So Mom, there's so many great things about this quilt that I want to point out that I don't even know where to start. Of course, it's got gorgeous fabric, and this floral is, once again, it has that watercolor look, but there's so many vibrant colors in it that it's just so gorgeous. And as you can see, we've got it in our larger half square triangle here, as well as some small ones, and a little bit of a border on the block here. And it's just so, so pretty. It's just so pretty. I don't know what to say. It's so pretty. I just love this fabric. Okay, then our number 2, of course, to give us that pop, we use this nice kind of off-white texture, and we've put it in our big half square triangles as well as our alternate blocks. Now, I want to point something out. Perfect whenever you're using a lighter color number 2 like this. We have our quilter that did a pink quilting stitch on this that I think is just gorgeous, and it really helps add interest to our number 2 fabric, which I think is cool. Now the number 2 fabric is gorgeous by itself, but I just think it was so neat how she did that. I wanted to point that out.
I love it whenever we do that on those big wide open spaces. You might as well show off your quilting too.
Oh my goodness, yes, absolutely. So then our number 3 is that pop of pink. Now once again, this kind of has that kind of watercolory look with a little hint of orange in it, just ever so slightly.
I hadn't noticed that.
I was going to say, you almost don't notice it, but there is just a little bit, which is cool because I think it really helps pick up some of the orangey kind of, it's a very light kind of apricot orange. So it really is very cool, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous fabric. Now, something I want to mention too, as you remember, we mentioned that we had all of our fabrics by the yard on our website. Look what we used on the back of this quilt.
That's the same fabric you used in that previous quilt.
It is, and it is an ombre, and it is available by the yard, and it looks gorgeous on the back of this quilt.
It does.
So just wanted to share that with you because I loved that we were able to do that. So,
well, I have to say, if you want to see how this one is made up with the pre-cuts, be sure you tune in on Thursday for our tutorial. And like and subscribe and hit that bell, and we'll send you a notice so that you won't miss out.
yeah, it's actually very cool. We have some mind-blowing images for you. You're not going to want to miss.
And guess what? We have a little extra bonus on Thursday that we're going to share with you.
Oh. All right, let's get the kit information on this one because this is a gorgeous kit. It is called Vibrant Bouquet, and the number is 8023333, and the pattern is Veranda. It is from the Stash Busting book with 3-Yard Quilts, and our alternative pattern that we're recommending is Jacob's Ladder.
Now this one is called Charmed, and I'm sure you're going to be charmed by this one because it's fast and easy. It would look great in those queen king size bed quilts, and I would like to put it on the table and talk about this fun fabric. Now this is one that you just have fun with it, and it gives you a scrappy look with just 3 yards of fabric.
It's great.
And so we have the different colors in the square here, and then we start changing the colors up as we go so that you've got the three colors all mixed up all the way through it. And it just turns out to be a very charming quilt.
It really is, and super, super fast to pull together and fun to put together. I like to be able to get my blocks together really fast the way this one would be and look at them and go, oh. I don't know why that is, but I'm...
Well, that we should do that. Whenever you're being creative, you should be nice to yourself. I'm a firm believer in that. So what I would like to talk about is this gorgeous, once again, we just really went crazy over all the watercolor fabrics. So this is going to be our number one, and it's used in the center here. It's also used in the outside border of this one.
So pretty.
And you know, in the beginning when we did 3-yard quilts, some people were so afraid that all of the quilts were just going to be kind of static because it just didn't seem like it would be enough fabric. But look at this, it's gorgeous.
It's great.
And then we've got our number 2. We always compare our number 2 and 3, and we have the number 2 here and here around each one of the squares.
So pretty.
So it kind of separates that 1 and 2.
And it really adds a nice pop, which, you know, it's kind of interesting for a number 2 to add the pop, but in this case, it is, and it works.
Yeah. That's a great idea. I hadn't thought of it that way.
It really does.
And then we have our number 3, which is the darkest of the 2 remaining, and that goes as your border here and in this inside of that square.
So pretty. And the blue matches so perfectly with the blue on the little flowers here that it really adds that unity in the quilts.
I really like this one.
Yes, it's so pretty.
Now this one is Spring Showers. It's 8023337. It is the charmed pattern from the Stashed Busting with 3-yard quilts, and an alternative pattern would be Illusions.
Now this pattern is called Crisscross, and it's a really fun block to put together. It's one of those 1-block quilts, but we've just rotated the blocks, used a really interesting fabric which creates so much interest, and this one also is really fast and fun to put it together. So let's put it on the table, check out the fabric and how this block is built. Okay, so as we said at the quilt, this is such a fun one to put together. It's very fast, and it is a 1-block. So I would love to share with them the block because it's not totally apparent when you're just looking at the quilt. So if we could get the cropping tool, I will show that to you. It really is so fun, and it's very, very fast to put together. So here's our block here. And all we have done on the quilt is just rotated it. So I'm gonna break it down for you because it is a little bit hard to see. So we have a square of fabric right here. Let's see if I can bring this in. So there's our square. And then beside our square, we're doing a really fast strip piece. So that's just 2 strips of fabric sewn together, cut into a unit, and sewn to the side of our block. Then we're gonna add another strip piece, just like this, and it's just 2 strips of fabric that are sewn on the side of this part. And then we're just doing that over and over again, and it makes it so fast and so, so simple. Okay, I want to bring up something else. So the other thing that I love is to use a fabric like this one that has the color variance throughout it. So this is ombre-esque, I guess, or ombre. We've got the center of our fabric that goes lighter, and I'm just going to open it up a little bit here so that you can see. So like this part is like right here, but then closer to the selvage, when you get to that selvage or the edge here, parallel with the selvage, the coloration, so it's kind of cool. So we've got our darker spots here. So we've got some of our squares that look more pink, some that look darker, some that look a little more yellow, which gives us that look like there's more fabric being used than actually is. This is gorgeous, so I just love it, and of course your borders are gonna look great and everything. So this is our focus, as you can see in all of our squares here. And then our number 2 fabric, this is such cool fabric. It has a lot of depth to it because of the variation in color from the very, very lightest blue to the darker blue. This is our number 2, and as you can see, we did our strips with that. So very fun. And then our dark kind of royal blue, and this is pretty because it looks like medallions. Remember whenever we were stenciling and you'd put the stencil down and then you'd sponge. That's what this reminds me of. That's a long time ago.
I think you and I have done it all, haven't we?
We're not afraid to try anything.
No.
So this has got these like medallions on it, and that is our number 3, and it really gives us that anchor that we're looking for, that gives us this great pop of design. So it's just so much fun.
And look how you got that dark color in this fabric.
Oh, they
Yeah.
coordinate so well. You're right.
Absolutely.
You're right. So this is fun. Now, we have something really special that we need to be sure and mention and remind everyone of. We have a book deal.
All you have to do is buy 3 of our kits, and you can take the book instead of the individual patterns.
That's right. And don't forget that 2 kits will make a twin and 4 kits will make a king. So if you're thinking about doing that, you'll get that book for free. Just be sure to write it in the comment section. All right, let's get the kit information for you on this one. It is called Rainbow Beads, and the number is 8023334. The pattern is called Crisscross, and it's from the new book, Stash Busting with 3-Yard Quilts, and the alternate pattern that we're suggesting is Gallery.
So as you know, all of these patterns are our favorites, but what is your favorite from this book? We would love to know. Be sure to put it down in the comments.
And remember, don't miss the video on Thursday where we're going to show all of these patterns done in pre-cuts. It's Fran Morgan
And Donna Robertson, thanks for watching.